Good morning, 'tis I, Father Maguire, otherwise known as Phil. Bit of an update for you folks. I've been doing some buying, prepping my stuff for tramping. So I've been keeping an eye out on Facebook Marketplace and picking up bargains along the way. So watching what drivers use. I bought this little camping stove which uses those cylinders that basically go in the bottom here. I think they're called C206s. This was £3. I picked this up off the marketplace, and the canisters that you have to put in there at the moment at Millets, which is a nationwide sort of camping shop, they're £2 each. So bargain that was for £3. The other thing I've bought is a picnic set. There was one with a damaged strap. It's got plates, knives, forks, spoons, tin opener, salt and pepper shaker, glasses, serviettes, all that sort of thing. £5 bargain. The other thing actually that I thought was a really good deal. I've been looking at sat navs, right, because a lot of drivers use very expensive sat navs. Well, if you're like me and you're starting out on a very limited budget, then you'll be looking at the lower end of the sat nav for trucks, because obviously you want to be able to put your height, weight and length of your truck in there to stop you from getting caught by low bridges or weight limits or anything like that. Then you'll be looking at the sort of, there was one brand called a Hi-Ha, H-I-E-H-A, and that was there was a review on that on YouTube against one of these really expensive ones, and the guy couldn't put much difference between the two. So based on this, I've been looking for this Hi-Ha, and I couldn't find any on Amazon for sale. I found a couple on Facebook Marketplace, and only one was the truck version, of which the owner that was selling it did not want to post it. I was willing to pay postage on top of what he wanted for it, but anyway, didn't want to do that, so I thought, right, forget that. Well, last Saturday, just gone, I was at a wedding in Grantham, and I noticed that there was a one sat nav that was on eBay for £25, unopened sort of thing, brand new, still in the wrapper, never been used for whatever reason. Not a very known brand at all. In fact, this is the book that comes with it. It's basically, the company's called GPS, which is a bit, you would wonder, but the model number is JRCX, and this is it. Because what happened was, I went to the wedding on Saturday, and the auction was finishing about, I was at the wedding at 3 o'clock, the auction was finishing about 5:30. So I thought, right, well, I messaged them and I said, if I win, can I collect as soon as the auction finishes? And they said, yeah, of course you can, if you win. So I put a bid in straight away. I thought, it's £25. I thought, right, I'll put £30 in, because if someone pips me to it by £1, I'll probably kick myself. And anyway, so I did. I put £30 in, and about an hour later, I got a message saying somebody had bid against me, and I went and checked, and it was at £30, but I was at the winning bidder. So I left it at that. I'm thinking to myself, well, when you look, you can buy some that are about £46 up to £75, all different sorts of unknown brands. Is it worth the risk? Because it's, it is second hand realistically. So I left it at £30 and I won. So I waited in Grantham for about half an hour after the wedding, and I went and picked it up, and obviously here it is. It took about, I left it overnight charging, because it's probably never been charged at all, and I ran it the next day. So this is it starting up here. And I did a quick journey because I was going to my mum's the next day, so I thought, right, I know that there's a weight limit on the way to hers. So I set the details up, put the, as if I was driving a lorry. I wasn't, obviously, I was driving my car. Set it up and put it towards her, and I knew that I'd be going down that road, and it diverted me somewhere else. So even though I was forcing its hand, I was basically going the route where the weight limit was, and it was saying, no, you can't go down there, there's the weight limit. So I know that it works, and like I said, £30. and it does everything on here. You can have the radio on. You can, if you've got a memory card in there, you can put music in, and then you can play your own music in here. You can watch films on it, and all sorts. And it does the navigation. There's no end of stuff. I'm going to do a proper review on this when I'm, in the lorry and I've got more time, because at the minute all I'm doing is I'm looking in the book, which there's a few pages, but the accessories, it doesn't tell you how to put the sun screen up, because I got quite a few bits with this actually, which I was pleasantly surprised with. So because it's not been used, you've got the bracket here that attached to that you obviously put on your window mount, but there's also a sun visor screen that stops glare getting on it, so you can see all right. Plus there's a USB charger, there's a cigarette lighter charger, so I think I've got a bargain, to be honest with you. I think it's great. So there's that as well that I've got for my my lorry and my tramping kit, the gas stove, the picnic set, this, and the other thing I've got yesterday, sorry, not yesterday, when was it Wednesday? Yeah, Wednesday, because it's Friday today. A lady on Facebook Marketplace was giving away 3 of these suitcases, these big ones. I've never had one before actually. I always end up borrowing my mum's when I need one. So 3 of these suitcases, 2 were like almost carry-on cases. They were a bit smaller, but one was a big case with a handle on wheels, and she was giving them away, and they're really good quality. And it was like a, I don't know, 16-mile round trip just down the road. Easy job. She was there, picked them up, come back. So I've got my luggage as well now for when I start tramping. I've got a whole list of stuff I need to get, but anyway. So where are we at? Where are we at with the HGV course, you might ask? Fair enough. 7 weeks of doing stuff online that's got very little to do with HGV driving. I can tell you it's been frustrating. So last week, on the Monday, I started a 3-week course in customer service. Again, very little to do with lorry driving. I made my point across saying, why am I doing this when I could be doing other courses that are actually more relevant to being a lorry driver? Even one like learn the highway code. That I'd found that more useful than customer service, where you don't really have a lot of interaction with customers. And it involved a day, it was yesterday, where I had to role play a situation where I was a customer ringing, complaining PC World about non-delivery of a telly, and then I had to pretend I was customer service PC World to respond back. I just don't get it, but anyway, I've done it. So that course was supposed to last 3 weeks. Well, I've pushed, and I have had to push quite hard to get it to finished early, and I got an email today saying that I'm now down to start on Monday in skills for logistics and transport. Bang on. So now we're actually getting to the bit where the only 2 courses that are left are both relevant to wanting to be a lorry driver. So it's great news, folks. Great news. I'm really quite excited. The only other things I've got left to do on this with the finance management and business school is I've got to do my lorry medical, which after seeing a YouTube video about it as well shouldn't really be a problem. Most of it was answering questions, and then they take your blood pressure, which I've never really had a problem with my blood pressure, which is good. Then I've got to do the theory test and the hazard perception. Theory test is a case of just brushing up on a few, because I practiced one 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I think you've got to get a pass mark of 85 out of 100, and I got 73 without studying. So that I shouldn't have a problem with. The hazard perception one I'm going to have to look into, because I know that if you press on the screen at hazards you think are coming too many times, it can fail you. So what I need to know is what not to press my finger on, because do I press my finger on cars coming this way in the opposite lane? I mean, I know you do the cars coming from each side, coming from roads on the side, and pedestrians, and someone pulling out on you. I know you do that, but I just don't want to be pressing it too many times, because I'd hate to think I'd fail on hazard perception if I didn't do my homework. So that's one thing I should be looking up, and hopefully part of this next weeks of training, we'll be touching on it somewhere, fingers crossed, you know. And then I've got my practical, and that concerns me because I've asked the question about CPC training. I know you have to do 35 hours of it. Well, I don't know if online classroom learning in this way, where no one's actually teaching me and I'm just answering questions on the internet, whether that counts. Because when you look at a CPC training, a lot of people will charge you 40 or 50 quid to do one part of 5 that you need to do every 5 years. So I've got to find out about that as well. Plus, then I'll have to pay for my taco car, which I know this course doesn't cover. I'll also have to send my license off when I've passed my medical to get the C plus E and C1, I think it is, added there as provisional, so that I can then practice driving and stuff like that. So I don't see me getting into a lorry for probably another month or two at this rate. But again, you know, I'm not paying for it, they are. And I know it seems to be a long process, and it has done to me. I've managed to cut corners by a week of this last course, but it does seem to be a lot of funneling around. But what they told me was they're trying to put people off, the ones that are actually doing it just because, you know, they want the license. They're making them jump through all these hoops to try and wean out the ones that aren't dedicated enough to do it. You know, like me, passing the courses and doing them. I'm dedicated, so therefore they treat me with going to do the training, which apparently they said the course is about £2,000 and it's the most expensive one they run. So I can understand that. But anyway, so yeah, Monday I start on that course, which is great. I can't wait. I'm already starting to get my tramping kit together bit by bit. You might think I'm a bit keen, but I am dedicated and I want this. You know, I really do. I want this. I want the license. And I don't mind the lifestyle of having to sleep in a truck if necessary. It just depends, because I'm going to be a new driver. It depends what sort of job I can get as well, because obviously a lot of companies want you to have your license for 6 months or a year with the experience because of insurance purposes. I've been keeping an eye on the jobs that are available, and there are quite a few that say, you know, new passes welcome. So, you know, it's just a case of finding the right spot for me when I eventually do get my license and I've got everything else sorted out, you know. Not really else a lot happened, to be honest. I've been obviously doing this course and buying these bits and bobs and trying to find other things that I'm going to need. But beyond that, there's not really a lot to tell you folks. So what I'll do is I'll probably do another video on Monday after I've had my induction on this new course, so I can, you know, and add a look at what training notes there are, and then I'll be able to give you a bit more information on what I'm actually studying for. So for the time being, I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Father Maguire signing out.